Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops. You're on the air.
Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops, Silicon Steve Valley, Vladi Dadi. Well, it's happened. You know, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's gone over the last 20 years. Red Sox winning the World Series, the Cubs winning the World Series, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Twice now. Things that we never thought we would see. And for the first time in over 7,000 days? I didn't get the exact number. But 21 plus years, a guy has walked the most virtuous line anyone has ever walked. Nobody has walked that line at that height so long as John Cena. We've talked about it before on this show. He genuinely is the best human being ever to come out of pro wrestling, the way he carries himself. Jeff Goldblum fell in love with this man because he was such a virtuous, good human being. That's who John Cena was, even when he was getting hounded. And in the face of fear of losing his final shot, in the face of now knowing exactly how it is to be a Hollywood star and be hated like The Rock, facing up against a man, the very first man, mind you, as a babyface to carry the company on his back the way Cena did in Cody Rhodes, and facing him at WrestleMania. In the faces of all that, we get one of the scariest faces I ever did see from one John Cena as The Rock gives the cutthroat signal, flashes the number 2, and John Cena betrays the faith of a nation, the C Nation, and kicks Cody Rhodes directly in the balls. And then proceeds to beat about Cody's head with metal objects such as a belt and a Rolex and a belt again. And speaking of belts,
the Rolex was a nice poetic touch. I like that.
Whose was it? I guess that
Dusty's.
was
Oh no, it was the gift that Cody gave to The Rock.
But Cody had it back.
Ooh.
Cody got it back. So they can easily explain it. But the Rolex was a great touch, even though Michael Cole did his best Tony Schiavone impersonation or his best Michael Cole impersonation, depending on your perspective. Michael Cole fucked it up and called it brass knuckles.
Yeah, I saw that. I got that.
You got to love
like,
McAfee. No, yeah. McAfee always calls Michael Cole out when he fucks up real bad. Yeah. That's a Rolex, Cole, you idiot! But I didn't see Cena grab it. Did he have
I think
it in
Rock
his
handed
pocket?
it. No, I think Rock handed it to him.
Are we sure about that?
That's what I remember. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, at that point, I was sort of in shock as to what happened and how it happened, and I'm sort of like, "Is this happening?" It's sort of like moment, and I'm like, "Wow, they pulled the trigger on it. This is it." And not only did The Rock look to obtain a soul there, in that one moment, they stole the soul of every young child wrestling fan, as far as the C Nation, and you could almost just feel the wind get knocked out of an entire universe of fans at once with this one shot. It was incredible, man. So, like you said, he's so looked at in a positive way. He's been nothing but one of the best products to ever actually come out of there. And I say that because he plays the part well. He's a product, man. He is himself at the right times, but you put him in a movie, he's all in. He knows how to go and handle himself with the interviews, man. He's just comes off as deep, philosophical, not just some sort of not Hulk Hogan, was or Ultimate Warrior. Like there's plenty to sort of laugh at and mock. Cena keeps it together and is actually even, like, dare I say, even like sort of improved upon the Rock's game, especially in the public relations sort of part of it.
Yeah, The Rock's been getting a lot of heat lately. He's been getting
Yeah,
a ton of
yeah.
heat.
So
Wrestle
now
Talk hates him.
yeah. And so now you got the two of them together. And again, I immediately thought of Hogan turning. And ironically, it was a moment made in Hollywood, if you will. And you have these two. And I'm just like, wow, talk about. All right, I thought we are going to get. I thought of all things. I thought Cody might play it until WrestleMania and then turn at WrestleMania. I did not think Cena would turn in his final year. I threw that off the table. Man, they're not going to do that. Well, I'll be damned, man. Some big dick energy over there by Triple H. They pulled the trigger on this thing, man.
And I really truly believe this is something that they had planned for a while. I saw an interview that John Cena did with Chris Van Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And Cena mentioned a lot of stuff about how he almost turned heel, and now it's supposed to happen. Chris Van Fleet even asked, he's like, The Rock's now a heel in 2024. This is obviously last year. Wouldn't it be something if John Cena and The Rock turned heel at the same time? John Cena said that's supposed to happen.
Wow.
And he went in by saying this, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, nobody is perfect in their life. Everyone makes bad decisions that go against their values from time to time. Everybody turns heel. The thing is if the guy can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then there's the story of redemption. And he even talked about how he was going to be heel in 2012 when he had Rock Cena 1. I think there's WrestleMania 28.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how he had a new song that he might dust off again one day. He said this. And this is on random Chris. It's when that movie Ricky Stenicki came out, if you remember that one. And he was not I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes gave it, but I'm assuming it's less than 50.
Right.
It looked funny. I almost wanted to see it, but I don't watch movies anymore.
Great title.
I have a 4-year-old. I have a 4-year-old's attention span, or a squirrel. So he goes into why that would make sense. A heel turn could make sense, and it was very interesting to see. But don't be surprised if John Cena is going to come out with a singlet and like a robe when he wrestles. Don't be surprised, because he mentioned that was going to be his vibe. And he has another song that he already recorded that he's going to re-record. It was very similar as Time Is Now, but it was a little darker. And they used saxophones instead of trumpets.
Ooh.
But he wants to change it back to trumpets, he said, if he ever does it again. So he was thinking about dusting off the heel persona about a year ago, because you don't go into that much thought and talk about it that much. Just a little bit of a Easter egg. And one Easter egg that I wasn't even sure if it really was an Easter egg, but when he did the first thing and he did this,
Yeah.
The Rock was 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen The Rock do 3 like this either. Savage used to do that, I think. So I don't know if that was a direct thing to Cena.
Hustle.
I think it's a direct thing to some kind of countdown, though, because he did 2 when Cena turned heel with the throat cut. Then he did 2. And then you start wondering what that even means. But for John Cena to turn heel has already made this WrestleMania so much more exciting. I told you, I texted you this a week ago or so. I'm not super excited about this WrestleMania opposed to the previous 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was the truth. What am I getting excited about? Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, the triple threat match with your 3 biggest stars. It's not Cody. Am I supposed to get excited about those things? I guess they'd be cool, but I don't. It's going to take a lot. I'm sure it'll be cool. It's going to be WrestleMania, and Triple H does well with those, and you have some great people involved. But your 2 big championship matches is Gunther and Jey Uso, which we've been vocal about, that we're not super excited about, even though they're doing a good job building this feud. I will say that. But that's another conversation.
Gunther stepped it up, man.
Yes, absolutely. But that's a conversation for another day. But now, and John Cena and Cody, babyface versus babyface. It was maybe a nice little moment where the passing of the torch of the big
Yeah.
babyface against the other big babyface. This is a game changer because now I'm so glad it happened. I really don't like. I don't like John Cena. That was a nasty face he had. It was just nasty. Ugh.
He was angry.
He was just. I think he was heartbroken because he had to do it. Poor guy. But it was absolutely an incredible moment. It's one of the all-time most shocking moments in WWE storyline history. And we're not going to say anything that a lot of other people haven't said. It just nobody really saw. A lot of people said it might happen.
Yeah.
But nobody thought it was going to happen. Nobody really thought that shit was happening.
I need to give them some credit the way they built it up, like in the elimination chamber match. Like, I sense that Cena would be the last guy out of the pod. That way he's not getting blown up, and just they're using him wisely. And while he got in there, especially he had 2 moments of Punk, which I gotta say, the crowd was eating up like crazy. I thought they were digging it. I was digging it too, man. I was like, it's nostalgic all of a sudden between the two. And they had that moment where, hey, let's shake hands, and then Punk went in for the hug, right? So then they break up. They start pummeling each other. They go and do this again, and then there's a second moment where I think they do a handshake, and is that the moment that Punk turns it into a GTS?
Yes.
Okay. So again, Cena was playing the face with Punk the entire time, like, yo, man, like, and then it was sort of like Punk doing this, but then, of course, Punk gets nailed with the curb stomp by Rollins on the outside, the steel platform.
Good for Seth Rollins. Great job.
He had to do it. And then he had a situation where Cena grabs him, Punk, puts him in the STF.
Saying sorry.
And he said sorry.
Sorry.
As well. Yeah. And then I love the fact that Punk didn't tap out, just gets choked out. Nice little touch. And basically you have the moment with Cody. So it's like everything leading up to this is like, wasn't really tipping their hat. Especially
in fact, to be honest with you, I was noticing how even more exuberant Cena was as like the babyface.
Yeah.
He was even more animated than he usually is. Like, you and me at WrestleMania, we're gonna. And he was really being that baby face to an nth degree. It was like overselling the baby face in a very subtle way, but I noticed it was more off the chart than usual. Yeah. And that's when I started thinking something weird is happening here, but I didn't see it really coming until Cena was so excited about Cody saying no.
Yeah.
Even more so there. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then he goes for the hug again, which I thought was gratuitous.
Yeah.
But you still don't know.
Yeah.
And then you see that face he makes. A face that's has already been memed 1,000 times already today. That since Saturday night. That face. And you knew it was coming, but you didn't know how.
Yeah. And you know what? Kudos to Cody with the go fuck yourself line, because that place erupted. That place, the roof almost blew off when he said that. And I was like, I lost it. I was like, yeah, man. Like, this is great. Like, this is like the type of like stuff I have been wishing that they would incorporate here and there, And it was just a perfect touch, man. And it Cena's like, whoa, like loving every moment of it. And the crowd's loving it. And off of that turn, man, that is just one of the most diabolical heel turns I think I'll ever see. And I give him all the credit. Now I'm engaged. Now I'm curious. All right, we're gonna take Travis Scott out of this equation right now. But who else might join these guys? I'm curious. It's not gonna just be the two of them. Like who else do they add to this group?
I think you might have said it. You get Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, a very good henchman.
Yeah.
with Jacob Fatu emerging, he's going to emerge to be a big star. The thing is, out of the two between Solo and Jacob, you have to wonder who the bigger star is between those two now at this point in time. And one of them's turning, and you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
wonder where both Tongans, because I'm sure the botch machine Tonga Lao will be back sooner than later.
yeah,
But both of those guys, plus I think didn't their brother sign Haiku Leo? Didn't
yeah,
he sign like
yeah,
7 months ago? So you have all
yeah.
three of those guys could be in with The Rock.
The Rock and or John Cena. And the thing is with Cena, I think he would be able to play off those guys, especially Jacob, pretty well.
I don't know what kind of Cena we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get a pretty. I don't know how whimsical he's gonna be. I don't know how funny he's gonna be. Do you think he'll be a funny heel, or do you think he's gonna be a straight up heel? And that he took every piece of John Cena that was John Cena out when he beat up Cody.
Yeah.
There wasn't any bullshit. You can't see me.
Yeah.
There wasn't any AA. There wasn't an FTR. There wasn't an SFTR. There wasn't an STFU. I think that's what he calls it. STFU.
Right.
But whatever it was, there was no five knuckle shuffle.
Right.
And one of the things he said in that interview with Chris Van Fleet, I wanted to do something completely opposite to the character that I was. You have to be completely different than what he was. So I think we're going to get a completely different John Cena. I don't think we're going to get a lot of joking around. He'll say funny things, but I don't think it'll be in a John Cena way. I think it's going to be more of a dry humor way, more like a Gunther.
Yeah. After sending you that text about Jacob, I like the Jacob aspect mainly because it's a connection to The Rock. But if The Rock were to make a stable, what I kind of like about he and Cena together, it's like they're both like awesome from their own eras, if you will. Like you had the Attitude Era of The Rock, of course. Then you had Cena with the Ruthless Aggression era, and it had me thinking, man, if they're kind of doing that, and if Rock wants to expand this in any way, there's one name I would want on that team above and beyond anybody else.
Batista.
No, I don't want this to be Evolution Part 2.
I'm just thinking people who make movies now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I would love to see Braun Breaker associated with those guys, man.
I'd like him to face them and go after him. I'd like him to be their opponents. I think that's where I think Braun Breaker is destined to be a badass babyface.
Wow.
I think he's going to be a top babyface. He'll be a heel and he'll probably be one of those guys that goes back and forth. But I think you're going to see this guy be a major babyface to challenge guys like that. But I think I'd want to see him like that too. I don't necessarily want him to be like third or fourth. Fourth fiddle. He would have to be the Randy Orton of Evolution. But tell me why you think that would be a great thing.
It's just I think he's going to be the diamond out of this next era, if you want to call it that.
Oh, we agree there for sure.
Yeah, and it's like tying him to that because this is a page turning moment, I think, for WWE in terms of storylines and everything else. And you mentioned Randy Orton.
It would be like Randy Orton, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, it would. And the other thing is, too, you mentioned Randy Orton. Here, also, Randy Orton returns that night. And that allows him to now also get into this mix, say if Cena were to win at WrestleMania. Like, they just expand. And Cody has a relationship with Randy. Randy has a relationship with Cena, of course. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of happen now, man. I just love that this, just a character change, a demeanor change, like you say, like with Cena, opens up all these doors now. It's great.
And Punk, too.
Punk as well. Yeah, absolutely. He was great on Monday Night Raw, by the way.
Oh, my God. CM Punk is making a fan out of me again. That promo he cut, fire and frickin' brimstone. And he made me laugh last week making fun of Logan Paul and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
You're dressed like an oven mitt made me laugh out loudly, and for a couple seconds. One of those.
Yeah.
So God bless.
It was
CM
great.
Punk's starting to find his groove, and he looked good in the Elimination Chamber. You know
Yeah, it
me,
was
I
good.
want to kill the guy. I want to
Yeah.
absolutely kill CM Punk. But I'm also the guy that calls it down the middle. His promos have gotten notched up a little bit during this WrestleMania season. And his matches, even though he's not going to wrestle a lot, and he's always going to have these gimmick matches where he doesn't really have to show that he's an athlete at all. No, but he has done a very good job in the matches he has been in. No one can take that away from him. Nobody. So CM Punk is really finding his groove at the right minute as we head into WrestleMania season, as we're right in the middle of WrestleMania season at this point. So you got him and Cena, you got Orton and Cena. I mean, you might even have The Rock and Cena, because something tells me at the end of this run, Cena's going to go off as a babyface. The only question is, does he win the title at WrestleMania, or does he win the title going away as a babyface? It looks to me, if you had a gun to my head, I'm thinking he's beating Cody at WrestleMania right now.
Yeah.
Because it does open all those doors that you talked about.
And the chase of Cody trying to get him in the next 8 months or so.
Yes.
Getting it back. That's,
Yeah. And you have Randy Orton and CM Punk. Yeah. You have a Randy Orton is a SummerSlam, or it's a major pay-per-view.
Or maybe a retirement match.
That might be the one that does it, or is it CM Punk? You got to
the way the crowd reacted to them and during Elimination Chamber, they can make money, those two.
I think they're going to have major pay-per-view headlining events with John Cena. I think Cody, Randy, Punk.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have Roman. Yeah. Probably. You may have a Jacob Fatu, possibly. You might have, you might even have a Drew McIntyre, who was not shy about talking shit on John Cena going into this. Who knows? Maybe even Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I don't know bad about that. But there's so many doors that open now with John Cena as a heel, and it's going to be so much more interesting. Yeah, it would have been nice seeing his farewell tour, but most farewell tours are not that super cool. Sure, Sting's last match was great, but other than that, it was pretty pedestrian. Nothing crazy happened. His last match was incredible. It was an incredible moment. Bryan Danielson had a great had a unique way to do it, but it was only great the last couple months. Cena announced this a year in advance, essentially.
Yep.
And to have the guts to do what he's doing and completely change his character arc and open new and do something fresh and new that we haven't seen in 21 years. It was ballsy, like you said. It was gutsy. It was doing something out of the box that no one was expecting. And Triple H, The Rock, Brian Gerwitz, John Cena, all these guys involved, Cody Rhodes, you have to give them a ton of credit. And they talk about it all the time. Triple H calls it a slow burn. The Rock calls it long gamers. I don't know what John Cena calls it, but they all love it. This entire run of John Cena has been planned out to a T. Mark my words. They have everything written out on what John Cena is going to do when he goes away in December. And this is how it starts. It's going to be an incredible ride, which at the end of it, you're still going to have The Rock looming over Cody. The Cody and The Rock is a long-term storyline.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. John Cena is just a small chapter of this feud between The Rock and Cody. That's the incredible part.
It's becoming Vince against Stone Cold.
Cody's not that cool, though.
He's not. He's more refined. I agree.
Isn't Punk cooler than he is?
Yes.
You're bullshit.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I like that he called him out on that, man. Because, you do it once or twice. You show it off, okay, it's genuine. But he does it every time,
Now
right,
it's
I get it.
Yeah, now it's like Triple H spitting water out.
Yeah.
It's like the whoa for Cody.
Yeah. What doesn't give you goosebumps, final boss?
The sales of the last 5 movie opening weekends.
That's true. Most of them straight to streaming.
But you know what? They kill it on streaming. Like that red one, right?
Yeah.
It's it is the most watched movie in Amazon Prime history as a movie of a debut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It lasted 2 weeks in the theaters, but who cares?
Who cares?
You
The Rock.
take the Rock has never seen a script he didn't like. Come on, you're gonna people are killing for picking bad scripts. Like the Tooth Fairy was so great 18, 15 years ago.
Right.
I mean, come on, killing
you
the
like that?
guy. He's
Would
made
you
some
like
shit
that?
movies.
Would you have like a little no holds barred film festival?
Dookie.
Exactly.
How Vince kept Hulk Hogan from going to the movies. I'll make a movie for you. You know, Vince wrote that line. The guy shitting his pants for Hogan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That movie, that movie was those two guys in a hotel room over the weekend with a ton of cocaine and steroids. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, brother. It was a weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Hogan told that story, but who knows if he's lying or not.
Probably.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, this is obviously one of the most monumental moments in WWE history in terms of shift changing. It changes the whole trajectory of the next year. That look, beyond that it doesn't. But John Cena is now as relevant and as important to professional wrestling as he's been in over a decade. And it's because it's going to give him an opportunity to see what kind of job he does as a heel. I have a feeling he's going to be a pretty serious bad guy. I really, really do. But who knows? I mean, you work with The Rock. The Rock's kind of goofy sometimes, even though he's a badass.
The Rock almost seems drunk at times, man. I don't know if he's getting to the Terramana before he gets out there or what, but
he probably is. He has no shits to give, dude. He has no. Thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. For Vladi Dadi, this is Silicon Steve Alley. Hit the subscribe button and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and here endeth the lesson.